Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. It started with a fist pump and then eventually ended with a celebration at home plate. James McCann's second big league homer was his first walk-off homer. And yesterday the Tigers pick up a win in Game 1. McCann back in the lineup tonight. Tigers and Astros Game 2 in this series. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Ron Allen. Glad to have you with us here for the second game in this four-game set. And, Ron, I guess it doesn't matter how you win them. It looked like the Tigers would roll yesterday, but a win is a win.
You know, this Houston Astros team, they rolled into Comerica Park. A very hot team. They had won 7 of their last 8 games, and it looked like they were going to snatch that one yesterday. But at the end of the day, the Tigers were shaking hands, and really that was all that mattered.
All right, Jose Iglesias got the day off yesterday. Back in there in this ball game here tonight. What a start it's been for the Tigers' talented shortstop.
You know, I love how Brad Ausmus has used Iglesias this year. He's given him a lot of days off. He wants to make sure he keeps him fresh, and boy, has he been fresh. We knew on the defensive end he would be outstanding. 9.77 fielding percentage, third among American League shortstops, but it's the batting average at .325 and the clutch knocks that he's already gotten. He's not striking out. He's on the base pass all the time. And not only that, but he's also stolen 6 bases. He only stole 2 bases a couple of years ago when the Tigers first got him, and I've always thought he had the kind of speed to steal bases. He has really solidified that defense, and there's no coincidence this team is playing much better with Jose Iglesias in that starting lineup.
All right, Tigers trying to ride the momentum of yesterday's win to a win here tonight. When we come back after a short break, we'll check in with Johnny Kane. We're coming up in this one here tonight. A healthy helping of the big pasta. Simon on the hill tonight for the Tigers. They take on the Astros. Game 2 coming up next. Tigers and Astros getting set to do battle here. Game 2 in this 4-game series. Jose Altuve getting set to settle into the batter's box tonight. And the Tigers riding the wave of emotion off a walk-off win yesterday in 11 innings. Trying to make it 2 straight against these Astros. Alfredo Simon set to go to work. Altuve in the batter's box, and here we go. Tonight's first pitch is ball 1 high to Jose Altuve. Altuve batting .306. He's hit 5 homers this year. He's knocked in 24. Here's the 1-0 pitch. He drives this one in the air straight up on the infield. The shortstop and second baseman, it's Kinsler at second base. And 1 gone. Here is the rest of the lineup for the Astros, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Altuve, Valbuena, Springer, your top 3. Gaddis cleaning up the DH. Tucker hit the big homer yesterday. He's in left. Rasmussen center. Carter, Castro, and Gonzalez rounding it out. And Mr. Simon tonight presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Alfredo comes in with 4 wins and 1 loss. He has done his best work right here at Comerica Park. He's 2-0 with a 1.25 ERA. He's only given up 3 runs in 21 innings right here at home.
Here is the number 2 hitter, Luis Valbuena. Valbuena in yesterday's ball game was 1 for 5, extending his hitting streak to 8 consecutive games, which equals a career high. That one bouncing into the backstop it goes. 1 ball, 1 strike.
If you don't know Alfredo by now, he will throw you everything but the kitchen sink. He's got a 2-seam fastball, 4-seam fastball. He's got a slider. He's got a curve. He's got a splitter as well, and he even throws an eephus, split-fingered fastball.
Anything else?
And that's the truth.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Lifted in the air toward left center field. On the move is Cespedes, staring into the sunlight. 2 up, 2 down.
Let's take a peek at the Tigers starting defense. It's presented by Beaumont Health System. Cespedes, Ghost, Martinez in the outfield. Miggy. He is one of 6 first basemen in the majors that has not made a mistake at his position this season. Very underrated at first base. We talk so much about his hitting that his defense just kind of gets lost in the mix.
So with 2 outs, here is the number 3 hitter, George Springer. Batting just .205, but he had a couple of hits in yesterday's game. Wave and a miss there to pitch up and out of the strike zone.
And Simon had a chance to watch the ball game yesterday and just how aggressive just about every last batter in the Houston Astros lineup was against David Price. They swing early and they swing often. Only the Cincinnati Reds swing at the first pitch more frequently than the Houston Astros do.
Well, after watching the Brewers here for 3 days, I thought they would be on the top of the list, but these guys are even more aggressive.
Right.
1 ball, 1 strike on Springer. Here you go, some of the numbers. 34% on the first pitch of every at bat, highest in the majors.
Oh, they switched from yesterday.
Here's the 1-1. Bouncing ball toward third. That is a fair ball. Castellanos' throw is going to be late. 2-out infield single for George Springer. Well, we mentioned it's a nice night tonight. Here is graphical proof. The field conditions are presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company. 65 at game time. Pretty good.
Nice Friday night crowd gathering here as well. You know, it's a weekend, so a lot of people probably have gone up north for the 3-day weekend, but still a really nice crowd.
No doubt. You can see that in the upper reaches of the upper deck there are folks in the seats tonight.
You know where there is one party at always on a Friday night.
Where's that?
At Amsterdam up there.
I knew you'd say that.
There's always a party up there.
Here is Evan Gaddis with 2 outs. $196 in the average column for Gaddis, but he has massive power. 8 home runs. He tripled in yesterday's ball game to the gap in right center field.
If you watch a lot of these right-handed batters, and the reason why they strike out so much is you watch their front hip. They cheat with that front hip and open it up, trying to get the fastballs inside, and that's why David Price had so many strikeouts yesterday. He was very good spotting his fastball down and away to a lot of the right-handed batters, and they continued to pull off that baseball violently with that front hip and that front shoulder.
Gaddis has hit 6 home runs this month. 6 of his 8 have come here in May.
And watch Gaddis' front hip once he starts to swing that bat. It's almost pointed down toward Castellanos. The last couple of years, man, the beards have just been getting longer and longer and longer.
Yeah, and there's more of them and more of them. Gaddis takes high, 2-0 the count.
I know they give out that dome in Houston, but that's got to be kind of hot in that sticky weather in Houston.
You would think.
Beard like that.
But it's much more important to make a fashion statement, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. It's all about how you look.
That's right. Not about how you feel. Simon allowing the 2-out infield single to Springer. He's got speed at first base. Runner bluffs, and that one is outside. Run the count now to 3-0. Waiting on deck is the guy that hit the home run yesterday, Preston Tucker, who tied the game off Joakim Soria, and he gets a start here tonight. He's playing in left field. The 3-0. He's swinging. Little pop-up, shallow right field. J.D. Martinez comes in with a running play right before that thing dropped. That's all for the Astros. No runs, a hit, one man left. Anthony Gose getting set to lead things off for Detroit. Their starting lineup presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Gose, Kinsler, Cabrera in your top three spots. JD is out in right field. Cespedes been getting on base at a healthy clip. He was, or has been, 6 for 6 in his last 2 games. Castellanos at third, bottom three. Davis DHing tonight, then McCann and Iglesias. And they are facing the right-handed offerings of Colin McHugh.
McHugh is off to a nice start. He's won 5 games. He's only lost 1. He has a fastball that will top out at about 94. He's got a slider that's been getting hit around quite a bit this year. Big curveball, 12-6 breaking ball, and a changeup that he will not throw to righties, but he will throw that to a lot of the left-handers.
1 ball, no strikes on Gose as he gets it started for the Tigers.
And McHugh had gotten into a pattern where he'd been using quite a few cut fastballs. And the four-seam fastball numbers have dropped drastically, but they have kind of gotten in his ear, and expect a lot more four-seam fastballs today, about 92 to 93 from McHugh. He will not use as many breaking balls tonight.
Here's the 2-0. And he missed it high, and the count goes to 3 balls and no strikes.
That's the last thing that McHugh wants to do is walk Anthony Gose. Tremendous base stealer.
And he takes a strike, 3-1. Valbuena is on the grass at third in case Gose is entertaining a bunt down that way. Shadows starting to creep in over the infield. Outfield still covered for the most part in the sunlight. And is rolled foul. Now the count evens at 3, or levels rather, at 3-2 against Gose, who comes in at 325.
Anthony Gose has had 7 games this year where he's got 3 or more hits. 7 games.
including yesterday when he went 3 for 5 for the Tigers. Here's the 3-2. Chopper back up the middle. Here comes Altuve. Ghost is out, 1 gone.
It's a nice job by McHugh coming back to get Anthony Ghost after falling behind him. 3 balls, no strikes.
McHugh, 27 years old, out of Naperville, Illinois. He'll go up against Ian Kinsler. Kinsler had an RBI in yesterday's win. He finished 1 for 5. 309 batting average now for Ian. And he looks at strike 1 on the outer edge. Jerry Lane goes up with the right hand. Lane is our crew chief tonight.
Team's not nearly overshifting Kinsler as much this year as they did last year. And the reason for that is he started to go the opposite way a lot more this year, taking that base hit the other day. And if the Astros aren't overshifting you, something's wrong.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a fair ball that's fielded by Carter for out number 2.
And while we have a second here, I'll set the Houston Astros defensive alignment for you. It's brought to you by Tim Hortons. Tucker, Rasmus, Springer in the outfield. 1 error last year by Rasmus. 119 games in center field. Gonzalez, Altuve up the middle. Valbuena and Carter on the corners. And Castro is the catcher today.
Well, the skipper, A.J. Hinch of the Astros, despite yesterday's loss, still has his team in first place by a pretty good margin in the American League's West Division.
You got to go all the way back to 2004.
That's driven to right field. That's going to be a fair ball up against the wall. Miggy is on his way to second. And he's in there sliding with a double. 2 out, 2 base hit for Cabrera.
Getting ready to say you have to go all the way back to 2004, the last time the Astros have had a 5.5 game lead in their division. Miguel Cabrera simply takes that fastball on the outside part of the plate, just hammers it the opposite way. He had to get on his horse, though, because Springer in right field, and we showed you Springer's defensive prowess last night. He is very good out there, and he has a very strong throwing arm.
8th double of the year for Cabrera, and now a 10-game hitting streak for Miguel. J.D. Martinez takes ball 1. His hitting streak came to an end yesterday. Had an 11-gamer going, but he finished 0 for 5.
Looked like to me that J.D. was trying to do a little bit too much in last night's game against his former team.
Here's the 1-0.
He swung at some balls that he had not been swinging at in the previous 10 games.
He was the Astros minor league player of the year back in 2010, had 3 decent seasons, and then all of a sudden the Astros decided to release him in spring camp last year, to the good fortune of the Tigers.
A new lease on life for JD.
The 2-0. 2-1 on Martinez.
It's a 91-mile-per-hour four-seam fastball up around the letters that, and JD swung right through. There must be some deception in the delivery of McHugh, because usually in 91-mile-per-hour fastballs get hit when they're straight.
Cabrera jockeying down the line from second base. That one almost, or did hit him. JD is nicked by that pitch, and that'll put 2 on.
Oh, JD got nicked, what, 2 days ago, too?
Yep, he is hit again here. A.J. Hinch not convinced that he was hit. Oh, my goodness.
Barely got him.
Apparently it hit the shirt. If you're going to get hit, that's the way to do it. Here is Cespedes. Early scoring chance for the Tigers.
Yeah, Yoenis Cespedes has reached base safely in his last 9 plate appearances.
Bender drops in for a strike.
And he's batting .317 with runners in scoring position.
6 hits for Cespedes in that stretch and 3 walks. Big day yesterday, had a double.
And he doesn't walk much.
No. And I don't think he's trying to walk right here either. Here's the 0-1. He'll shoot it back to the screen. 0-2.
Tied for the second longest streak in the majors this year. Adrian Gonzalez of the Los Angeles Dodgers reached base safely 10 consecutive plate appearances earlier this season.
Oh, 2. Swing and a miss. He got him that time as Cespedes goes down. Streak is over. Tigers strand 2. We go to the second. On Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. By Chrysler, come discover great deals during the Chrysler Drive and Discover event. And by Maxwell House, good to the last drop. It's the yearly tradition here at Comerica Park. Polish American night here at the Yard this evening. A lot of dancing going on before the start of this one right on the field here tonight at Comerica. Here is Preston Tucker to lead things off. Alfredo Simon back to work here in the second. Tucker, Rasmus Carter in the Houston second inning. Astros got an infield hit from Springer in the first, but no damage. Here's Simon's 1-0.
And Tucker was wearing out Pacific Coast League pitching before his call-up. He was batting .320, and he was leading all minor leaguers in homers with 10 and RBIs with 32.
And as you said, when he walked to the dish in the ninth inning yesterday, he was up there to do one thing.
One thing. And he did it.
Hit the ball out of the ballpark, and he cleared the left field wall. Meanwhile, Big Pasta's gone 3-0 here, and there's strike 3-1. Tucker hitting .310. That home run that he hit yesterday in a pinch hitting role was his first major league home run. Rasmus waiting on deck.
Here's that home run yesterday, and it came off of Joaquin Soria. It was a fastball that was tailing away from Tucker. He let it travel deep, and obviously he's got some power. You don't see many left-handed batters drive the ball out of this ballpark the opposite way.
Here's the full count pitch.
Alfredo throwing lots of fastballs up in the strike zone here already today. I wonder if that's by design, to see if he can get a lot of these over-aggressive swingers to offer at that pitch. So far, they have not been able to lay off of it.
McCann flashing signs. 3-2 fastball coming. Fouled away. Last one at 94 from Simon.
Simon stands about 6 feet 6 inches. He weighs about 265 pounds. Pretty mobile on the mound, though. He fields his position. Can hold the running game down when he's concentrating on that base run.
Now finally, Tucker will step out. Simon this year at home has done some really good work. Rod touched on the numbers earlier. 2-0 in the home ballpark, but an ERA just a shade over 1. That one is hit straight up in the air, middle of the infield. It'll be Iglesias back to the grass a couple of steps. Tucker has retired, 1 gone.
It's already pretty much the 4th out that he's recorded on a pop-up.
Here is Colby Rasmus. .244 average, was 1 for 5 yesterday with a 2-base hit. And got the shift on to the right side against Rasmus. Swing and a miss. Rasmus has hit safely in his last 3. Signed as a free agent in January. Astros gave him a 1-year free agent deal.
He didn't have a lot of takers out there.
No. And hence the 1-year deal was gobbled up by Rasmus after stops in Toronto and St. Louis. Broke in with the Cardinals as a #1 pick, or a first-round pick, I should say. 2-1.
He, along with Gaddis, they're a cleanup hitter. And both guys don't use batting gloves. It's rare. It's rare to see one guy, but 2 on one team. Very rare.
Back in the day, I would venture to say that most guys didn't use them, did they? I mean,
they didn't even have them back in the day.
Now it's rare to see guys not wear them.
Yeah, you walk by guys' lockers now, they've got 36 batting gloves in their lockers.
Here's the 2-2. Another foul back out of play.
I don't know if Miggy is still doing it, but whenever Miggy would take an offer, he would get rid of those batting gloves.
Is that right?
They would not be used again.
It's good to be a big leaguer, man. You can just discard some batting gloves and you got another pair waiting for you.
Give them to a young kid or somebody. Make somebody's day.
Simon finally dispatches Colby Rasmus. A strikeout, his first of the game. 2 outs.
It's a split-fingered fastball thrown in a beautiful area at the bottom of the zone. It stays on the fastball plane until about the last 5 feet, and then once Rasmus started his swing, that ball just started to tumble.
2 gone for Chris Carter, who was batting 5th in yesterday's game, batting 7th in this contest tonight. 7 home runs for Carter. Fouled off the mask of McCann, 0-1. Carter on pace to have yet another big season in terms of homers, but he's on pace to strike out a lot again this year. On pace for over 200 punch-outs this season. He's done that before a couple of years ago. And he's behind in the count 0-2. Now Simon with the 0-2 pitch. Bouncing in. Well, you talk about not liking to hit in this ballpark. How about Carter? .355 career versus Detroit. And really any park that he's faced him in. But here are some of those strikeout numbers. On pace for 219, which is going to come close to the record.
We just saw Mark Reynolds. He was playing for the St. Louis Cardinals. Both guys have tremendous power. And strikeouts and power pretty much go hand in hand.
Well, they did for Carter last year. 37 home runs to go with his 180 plus strikeouts last season.
Most of those homers came in the second half, too. He was getting off in the second half last year. And there's another one of those split-fingered fastballs, and Simon will use it a lot. It's his go-to pitch, and whether he's trying to get ahead of you or whether he's trying to put you away. No one uses their splitter as much as Simon does. And Matt Shoemaker, second on that list at just 24%. Simon uses his 33% of the time. And he's got just enough fastball to keep you honest, because if you're looking for that split-fingered fastball and he throws you one of those heaters at 92, 93, you're not going to catch up to it.
It's going as high as 94 in this game here tonight. And again, the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Simon finally got him. A couple of strikeouts in the inning for Alfredo. 1, 2, 3, they go. Tigers have Nick Castellanos leading it off in this one. It'll be Castellanos, Davis, and McCann in the bottom of inning number 2 on a glorious night for baseball. Clear skies and a beautiful night. Big crowd still filing into the ballpark tonight. Colin McHugh goes back to the hill. Gave up a double and hit a batter at the first, but the Tigers could not push one across. And now Castellanos. Swinging on the first, and he drives one to right field. Straight at Springer, and 1 pitch, 1 out. By the way, stay tuned to Tigers Live following the game. We'll select the Tigers Fox Sports Detroit Player of the Game, presented by the 2 for $5 mix or match filet of fish and 10-piece McNuggets. So who is your player of the game? Well, stick around. After the game, we'll select ours. Here's Rajay Davis. DHing tonight. Now Tyler Collins is with the club, and he's a left-handed batter, but Brad has decided to go with Davis, the righty, DHing tonight against McHugh. Here's the 0-1.
Right-handers are batting a little bit better this year against McHugh than left-handers. Lefties hitting at 232. Right-handers 292, so that may have played into the decision for Brad to play Davis here tonight in favor of Collins.
The reverse splits, as they like to call them.
Although Brad would not say that before the game when that question was posed to him. He simply said that Rajai Davis has done nice work, and he doesn't want him to sit too much. He wants to continue to give him consistent reps.
Here's the 1-2.
That breaking ball's got a really big break to it. It's a 12-6 breaking ball. If you're looking at a clock, the number 12 and the number 6, it comes right off the table, right there, and then it just drops down off the table. It's a plus pitch for him.
Well, McHugh and Dallas Keuchel have combined to go 11-1 this year. That is the most wins by any starting duo in the American League. Keuchel's been outstanding. He's been undefeated.
And the team's is 15-2 when those two guys start. So
pretty good.
Yeah, done nice work. You can go back a little further on McHugh. He's been getting busy for the last year and a half, about 6 months.
That's going to be fair down the first base line, just out of the reach of the glove of Chris Carter. It's a base hit. Here's James McCann.
Hit a second career home run yesterday. Got a changeup from Sit and hit it into the Tigers bullpen for a walk-off win.
I'm assuming the walk-off home run was more exciting than the inside the park home run, but I don't know. That inside the parker was his first major league homer,
and it was exciting.
It might have been a push. Ball one missing outside to McCann. Doesn't happen very often, but McCann became the first player with an inside the park home run and a walk-off home run for his first two in the big leagues. Last guy to do it was Tim Raines in 1981.
Tim Rock Raines.
The 1-0.
Rajai has 10 steals. He's stolen second base 5 times, and he has stolen third base 5 times. Looks like McHugh doing a little bit of what Feldman did yesterday, simply holding the ball on the mound, trying to disrupt the timing of Davis, not allowing him to get a good jump.
Rajai went, but then stopped. Now a ground ball to short. It's going to end up being a double play. That'll be a 6-4-3 to end the inning. No runs, a hit, nobody left. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire. It is game 2 featuring the Tigers and the Astros in this 4-game set on a gorgeous night here in the Motor City. Big crowd. Tigers looking for another win over the Astros. It'll be Castro to lead it off, then Gonzalez and Altuve. Facing Alfredo Simon, who got him 1-2-3 in the second. The only hit he has allowed is an infield single by George Springer. Castro did not play yesterday. It was Castro getting the start here tonight. Conger yesterday. And the left-handed batter goes tonight with a .217 average. He's got 5 homers but only 8 RBIs. Simon ready with the 0-1. And he missed it outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. They are playing Castro to hit the ball to the right side of the infield. Here's the 1-1. Drill to the right side, but this one to the gap in the outfield is going to drop and go all the way to the wall. Castro is on his way to second. He will hold with a double. Leadoff 2-base hit for the Astros.
That is the 6th double of the season for Castro. That's another split-fingered fastball thrown by Simon. This one doesn't get to the area that he wants it. This one stays up in the strike zone. It's crushed by Castro into the double, into the right center field gap.
A scoring chance here in the third for Houston. Now the number 9 hitter, Marwin Gonzalez. Did not start yesterday, but came on later in the game.
And Gonzalez has a job to do here with a runner on second, nobody out. He at least has to advance him over to third base or drive him in if he's fortunate enough to do that.
Fouled straight back. Gonzalez at .238 would be termed one of these super utility players. He could literally play just about anywhere on the field. He's played all the infield positions. He's played outfield as well.
Yeah, 16 starts at shortstop. He's made a start at third. He's made a few starts at first base this year.
Here's the 0-1 showing bunt now, and he has to buckle out of the way.
It's a good idea by Gonzalez. You've got to get the job done. Whichever way you feel most comfortable advancing that runner, you do it.
They want to get that runner to third with Altuve waiting on deck. The leadoff double by Jason Castro. Bunted. And Simon will take a peek at third. McCann telling him to go to first base. So the sacrifice works. Game break time. Here's Johnny Kane. All right, Johnny, thanks. Those Indians coming in 9 games back at 17-23 in the Central. Playing their in-state rivals tonight. Here's Altuve now with the runner at third. Infield coming in a couple of steps.
Altuve has been pretty good in these situations this year. He's gotten that runner in from third 4 or 5 times. Less than 2 outs. He's been battling it, though. He's only 3 for his last 26 and 2 runs scored in his last 6 ball games.
Yeah, that is very un-Altuve-ish. There's the average 52%. Runner has scored 4 out of the 5 times for Altuve.
They really haven't found a legitimate leadoff hitter. They feel like Altuve is better suited for that number 2 spot. He doesn't walk a lot, and he puts the ball in play quite often.
Simon ready with the 0-1. Line drive caught by the second baseman Kinsler. And the runner has to hold. He hit it hard, but Kinsler able to make the play. 2 gone.
Kinsler didn't really have to move.
What would George Kell used to say about that play? He hit it right at him. And Kinsler hauled it in. So with 2 outs, here is Valbuena. Castellanos running across the field to play on the right side. Iglesias breaking toward the bag, trying to keep the runner Castro close. Lifted back out of play. By the way, with Valbuena up there, it brings us to our Bernstein advantage, the pitcher-batter matchup. These are updated numbers. The advantage belongs to Alfredo Simon, as Valbuena is just 3 for 14 against him. Flied out to left field his first time up. First real threat the Astros have had in this game. The leadoff doubled, but he's standing at third now with 2 outs. The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Valbuena coming over from the Cubs. He leads the American League at third baseman, all of them in home runs, with a total of 10 this year, but only 16 RBIs with 10 home runs. Now it's 1-2. Really wasn't much room for Valbuena in Chicago. Of course, they had Chris Bryant coming, who is now in the big leagues, and so they decided that Valbuena was expendable, and the Astros picked him up.
Yeah, that Bryant kid, he's going to win the Rookie of the Year in the National League. He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's a really good player.
6'6", too, with a lot of power.
2-2.
Tigers will see those Cubbies this year. They'll play them 2 games in Chicago, and then Chicago will come to Comerica Park as well this year for 2 games. It's a talented group, Chicago Cubs, led by their new manager, Joe Madden.
Cubs trailing St. Louis, I should say, in the Central. Just a few games. Little chopper to the second baseman. Kinsler bobbles it, and he doesn't have time to pick it up, and the run will score.
You can see it coming. Ian Kinsler about as sure-handed at that second base position as any in the majors, and he just kind of got caught in between, charging it a little bit too aggressive, and his feet kind of got tangled up, and he just couldn't make the play. Really should have just stopped and played it without charging so hard. He would have gotten that out. The Astros are 18-2 this year when they score first, so scoring first is vital for their team's success.
Error on Kinsler and no RBI for Valbuena. It's 1-0 Houston. Here is Springer. Fouled straight back.
Tigers have been a pretty good defensive team all year. Yeah, but they made 2 errors in last night's game as well.
Well, this one should have gotten Simon out of the inning, but the Astros still batting here. Springer had an infield single in his first at bat. Could not pull the trigger, but it missed high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Springer, another one of those right-handers that really likes to cheat on fastballs inside by opening up the front side of his body, and which means you can get him away.
In the air to center. Goes on the move. Now he's sprinting, and it's over his head. This will get a run in, it appears. Valbuena rounding third. They'll send him home, and he will score. It's a double for Springer to dead center over the head of Anthony Gose.
Yeah, the error by Ian Kinsler, very costly.
16th RBI for Springer, and now 2-0 Houston.
It's a cut fastball that's on the outside part of the plate that Springer's able to reach, and Gose plays awfully shallow in center. The ball hit right over his head. He couldn't run it down.
Third hit of the game now for the Astros, and that'll bring up their cleanup hitter, Evan Gattis. Gattis 0 for 1. Fly to the right fielder in his first at bat. Strike one on Gaddis. So Simon now has reached a total of 50. There's his ratio. 32 strikes, 18 out of the strike zone. Gaddis takes up and in. The count evens 1-1. They have gotten their starter, Colin McHugh, a couple of runs.
They always score a lot of runs for him when he's on the mound. They average nearly 6 runs per contest when McHugh's towing that slab.
It's a high, towering drive to left center. Playable, though. Cespedes under it. And that'll end the inning. They get a couple of runs. One big error for the Tigers. Well, the Tigers have some work to do now. 2-0 is our score. The Astros have taken the lead. Colin McHugh goes back to the hill. Jose Iglesias will start things off for the Tigers. Iglesias, Ghost, and then Kinsler. First at bat of the ball game for the number 9 hitter. Tigers have gotten a couple of base runners to this game. Single, double hit batter, but they've not been able to get to McHugh so far. Iglesias showing bunt, looks at ball one high and away. 325 average for the Tiger shortstop. Now the 1-0. Ripped down the left field line, but foul. McHugh last year an 11-game winner. In fact, he went from being a waiver claim from the Rockies in December of 13 to the Astros Rookie of the Year last year. That's bunted foul, 1-2. Putting together an 11-9 record, but really more than that, a 2.73 earned run average. Pretty good rookie numbers.
A lot of curveballs when he gets ahead of you with 2 strikes, and it's a good one.
Pulled foul.
And there it was. Iglesias able to get a piece of it.
Q is 6'2", 189 out of Naperville, Illinois. He'll be 28 next month.
Naperville, nice city.
It is indeed. Slice to right, and that's a base hit. Leadoff single for the Tigers here in the third. Time now for our T-Mobile Game Changer. ERA among American League right-handers since 2014. You've got some heavyweights on that list. You got Hernandez, you got Garrett Richards, Corey Kluber,
and who?
Colin McHugh is on that list. Right behind Sonny Gray.
Would not have known that.
Here's Ghost. He bounced out his first time up. Drags a bunt down the first base line. Going to be trouble. No chance. Bunt single. Anthony Ghost.
Anthony Ghost has been bunting a lot, but take a look at the concentration here and the fact that he's not moving a lot. The head is directly down on the baseball, and he catches the ball and puts it in a perfect spot right back past the pitcher. He makes the first baseman come and field it, and McHugh's not going to beat Ghost to the bag. That is a beautiful bunt. He is playing the game with so much confidence right now.
And you just expect and wait for that dip, but we haven't seen it. He's just been so consistent.
Well, Ian Kinsler, he could bunt too. You wonder if they want to and try to get another runner in scoring position that way. They've already hit into 4 double plays in this series.
Breaking ball, strike, 0-1.
But I guess the flip side of that is if you vacate first base, A.J. Hinch, they might just walk Big even though they have a 2-run lead. You never know.
Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2 on Kinsler.
That curveball is an outstanding pitch from McHugh. And it's got such a big break to it. And he throws it out of the same window as the fastball.
He spins up another one, but it missed outside, and Kinsler able to lay off. That bunt single by Ghost was the Tigers' 4th hit of this game. Simon hoping for some offensive assistance here. The 1-2. Just got a piece of it, staying alive. Hey, by the way, just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Cabrera waiting on deck. Leadoff singles by Iglesias and Ghost here in the 3rd. Lifted in the air down the left field line. That's going to be caught on the run by Tucker, and the runners will hold. 1 out. Here's Cabrera.
And yesterday in the ball game, he went to the bottom of the zone and he drove in a run, and it was the 1,400th run that Miguel Cabrera has driven in his big league career. 5th youngest player to accomplish that. They've been pitching Miggy away for the last 2 days, and Miggy knows that. But at some point in time, they're going to try to come inside on Miggy, and he is such a smart hitter. He'll be able to turn on that pitch. This just might be that at bat because he doubled down in the right field corner his first time up.
Oh, 0-1 on Cabrera.
Little cut fastball at 87 miles an hour that Miggy fouled off, but he had an outstanding swing at. A.J. Hinch was talking about Miggy today. I went to his office to say hello to him, and he said, you know what? I'll overshift Miguel Cabrera all day, every day if he'll hit that ball to right field on the ground. He says, when he hits a single, I'm high-fiving my coaches.
So they want him to beat the shift.
They want him to beat the shift with a single the other way.
Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
We've seen a lot of those swings, man, on that curveball. It's the first time these Tigers have seen McHugh, too, for the most part. So none of them have really seen him. And until the second time around, they're not going to have a pretty good idea of what that curveball is doing. We've seen quite a few awkward swings on the pitch.
A lot of breaking balls for Colin McHugh early in this game. He's gone ahead of Cabrera 0-2 as he tries to navigate through the middle of the Tigers lineup.
The thing about Miggy, though, you show him that curveball one time and then you try to come back and get him out with that same pitch, and usually you don't have a lot of success doing so.
Meanwhile, the catcher Castro out to have a very quick chat with McHugh. Last start against the Jays, he struck out 9 in 7 innings, gave up just 2 runs.
That's a pretty good offensive team, too.
Yeah. Missed inside. 1-2 on Cabrera.
If he was smart, he would go right back inside with another fastball for a strike to see if Miggy was waiting for him. Anything that he throws Miguel away, if he gets too much plate with it, Miggy's going to hit it hard somewhere.
Breaking ball, and he got him on strikes.
He sure did.
Wow.
We're going to make that our bell tire pitch by pitch. McHugh with runners on first and second, striking out one of the best hitters, well, the best hitter in the game, and he got him on the same exact pitch. He got ahead with a breaking ball, and he finished Miggy off with a breaking ball.
Well, the Tigers now have J.D. Martinez up there with 2 on, 2 out. Driven deep to left field. That ball is way back, and that ball is foul. Just foul down the left field line. Man, it looked good.
He stayed back as long as he could on that breaking ball and still got out in front of it and nearly had a 3-run homer.
That thing was a majestic moonshot.
When you throw as many breaking balls as McHugh has thrown here today, you're bound to make a mistake or two with a couple of them.
And he almost paid there. 0-1 on J.D. Driven to right field. Ball hit well. Springer is on the run. Still going back. He looks up. That ball is gone. It's a 3-run homer for J.D. Martinez. Power to the opposite field on display for J.D.
That has to feel awfully good for J.D. Martinez, homering against his former team on a 91-mile-per-hour fastball right down the middle. J.D. pulls his hands close to his body and barrels it up, and he has as much power the opposite way as most right-handers in the game that hit home runs.
He missed down the left field line, so why not try the right field line? Into the seats the other way. Here's a drive in the air to left. This one will stay in the ballpark. Tucker is under it to retire the side. 3-run homer gives the Tigers the lead. When we come back, we'll check in with Tiger skipper Brad Ausmus. couple of moments ago, had a chance to catch up with Brad Ausmus, and I asked him about that 3-run homer from J.D. Martinez.
No, that was a big one. I think J.D. gets a little amped up when he's playing his former team. So sometimes you got to learn to control those emotions. But he put a nice swing on that.
Brad, for you, has it been Anthony Gose or Jose Iglesias that has been the most impressive to you? Both guys, I mean, simply getting it done on both sides of the ball and running the bases very aggressively.
I don't want to pick favorites, but they've both done an excellent job. Certainly, defensively, they've been a big boost to us, running down balls in the outfield by Gose. And, of course, Iggy's kind of well documented as shortstop. We knew more about Iggy defensively than we did about Gose.
Hey, Brad, your impressions of Alfredo Simon tonight was bitten by that unfortunate error in the third, but otherwise pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good. It looks like he's struggling a little bit with his release point. Can't quite find a consistent spot to let go of that split, but I'm hoping he can find it right now and pitch another 5 or 6 innings.
And the words of Brad Ausmus getting his thoughts here tonight. The Tigers have taken a 3-2 lead as we play in the 4th inning, and Simon getting the ground out from Tucker. Our thanks to the skipper for spending a couple of moments with us. Colby Rasmus will step in. Rasmus a strikeout in the second, 0 for 1. Sends a high pop-up, foul ground, third base side. And Iglesias overran it. With the shift on, it was Iglesias coming from his shortstop position, but overran that ball.
He overran it by a lot.
Yeah. Whoops. So it's new life for Rasmus. Here is Simon's 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Alfredo now has been given the lead after giving up 2. In the third, there were 2 unearned runs. 3-run homer by J.D. Martinez. Foul tip into the glove. 1-2.
And Rasmus is a dead pull hitter. That's why they're playing him the way that they are. Miguel Cabrera at first, hugging that first base line. Rasmus also stands right on top of the plate. I mean, right on top of it. Hands resting over home plate.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Colby Rasmus. Chris Carter will be next. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. It's the second time Rasmus has struck out tonight, and there are 2 gone here in the 4th inning. Hey, tomorrow, Major League Baseball on Fox Sports 1 continues. The Brewers take on the Braves at 3:30 Eastern. Then at 7 p.m. Eastern, it's the return of Baseball Night in America on Fox as the Cardinals and Royals renew their in-state rivalry. Coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox and Fox Sports 1.
Another good splitter here to get the second strikeout of the evening of Colby Rasmus. Rasmus has struck out 48 times already this year.
That's a lot. Meanwhile, Chris Carter has struck out a bunch too, 57 times.
He leads their team in strikeouts, and they also have Springer, who has struck out 44 times. They have 3 guys in their everyday lineup that are in the top 10 in strikeouts.
Here's the 0-1.
And most guys batting 159 about this time of the season, they probably would be sitting on the bench. But A.J. Hinch, he's going to stick with Carter. Carter was not performing all that well last year, the first half of the year. And then he caught fire. And so they know exactly what he could do.
Yeah, he caught fire to the tune last year of 37 home runs. Since 2013, he has hit 73 homers. Strikeouts extremely high, though, as you can see by that graphic. Checked it. Did he go? Yes, sir. Down goes Carter. A couple of strikeouts for Big Pasta. And we'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Drive.
I see that.
FS Detroit has the best broadcast. There's me, there's you, there's Simo in the middle.
That's everybody.
Keely's on there. That's everybody. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you watching. Well, the Tigers have a lead up 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Colin McHugh back to the hill. Tigers have Nick Castellanos leading it off. In there, strike one on Nick. Davis and then McCann in the Tiger fourth. Breeze starting to pick up a little bit, chilling down here at the ballpark. Temperature now 57, but still very nice. Swing and a miss.
And McHugh is 11 of 15 in first pitch strikes thrown tonight against Tigers batters, which is pretty good.
Three-run shot by J.D. Martinez with 2 outs in the third. Gave the Tigers the lead. That's driven to right field. Castellanos goes the other way.
And Castellanos able to climb the ladder on that 89-mile-per-hour cut fastball and hit it to the vacated right side of the infield.
Hey, the Tigers conclude their weekend series with Houston Astros on Sunday at 1:08. It is Sunday Kids Day. All kids 14 and under will also receive a free Shane Green poster. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. Leadoff man on. Rajay looks at ball one. Single in the second for Davis, but then he raced on a McCann double play, and the Tigers have now grounded into 45 double plays this year.
4 in the last couple days.
Yeah. But, that's the most in the American League. They had 2 of them yesterday. The 1-0 is popped up. Foul ground for Chris Carter. Rajay retired, 1 out. Bring up James McCann. Oh for 1 with that double play ball back in the second. Two for 6 in the series for McCann. Oh and 1. Well, McCann's gotten some headlines recently for, of course, the walk-off home run yesterday. He's been pretty good offensively. The batting average at a solid 286, but he has also thrown out 7 runners trying to steal this year. Has shown a very strong throwing arm, and maybe more importantly, an ability to catch his pitching staff and handle that staff with ease. Ooh, look at that. 0-2. Can't let it fly. Came up empty. Another breaking ball.
We were told that McHugh would be throwing more fastballs here today against Tigers batters, but that really hasn't been the case. And not at least through the first 3. 57% off speed, 43% fastball so far tonight.
One and 2 on McCann.
If you're McCann, you have a pretty good idea that curveball's coming, but you just can't look for it. You can't sit on it. But it has to be in the back of your mind.
Bouncing ball to third. This might be another double play. 5-4-3 it is. Tigers bounce into 2 double plays tonight. Let's go to the 5th. Bernstein Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Myers, save big with M-Perks from Myers. Sign up at mperks.com. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. Nighttime settling in now here at Comerica Park. The Tigers Astros going at it. Game 2 in this 4-game weekend series. Tigers on top right now, 3-2. In the 5th inning, it's Jason Castro to lead it off, and Marwin Gonzalez and Jose Altuve.
Of course, the Tigers have to handle their business here against the first base club in the Houston Astros, but maybe the St. Louis Cardinals can give the Tigers a little help. They're starting a 3-game series against the Royals tonight.
That would be nice.
That'll be a good series, good weekend series.
Well, the Tigers went to St. Louis, took 2 out of 3 there. We'll see how the Royals match up. Castro had a double to start things off back in the 3rd, eventually scored a run on the 2-out error by Kinsler. Here's the 0-1. High towering drive to left field. Cespedes going back. Edge of the warning track. 1 gone. Hey, you know what's coming up? Tigers concluding their weekend series with the Astros Sunday at 1:08, and it's Sunday Kids Day. All kids 14 and under can run the bases after the game. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or check it out online, tigers.com.
That is a huge thrill for the youngsters that attend baseball games on Sunday. They get the face painted, and then after the game to get on the big league field and run the bases.
Pretty cool. Got fireworks after the ball game tonight. It's our first fireworks display this year. Here is Marwin Gonzalez. Dropped down a sacrifice bunt back in the 3rd against Alfredo Simon. And he drops down another bunt. This one goes foul. Eight doubles this year for Marwin, 2nd highest total on their team. A couple of home runs. In fact, for Gonzalez, 10 of his 20 hits have been for extra bases. Simon a 1-2-3 4th, including 2 strikeouts. He's punched out 4 in this game this evening. Ball high, 2-1. Alfredo made his 2nd straight quality start despite losing to St. Louis last weekend. Putting up 2 runs in 6 1/3 in that game. Drill to right field on a line. There's J.D. Martinez to make the play. 2 outs. 6 in a row set down by Simon. Here's Altuve. He's 0 for 2. Average now down to 303.
3 for his last 27 is Jose Altuve in the last 7 games.
And he swings to the first pitch and pops it up. There's Castellanos. And it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning, the 2nd in a row for Alfredo Simon. Tigers baseball tonight, presented by Bell Tire. 3-2, Tigers have the lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning tonight at Comerica Park. We've got some big timers at the ballpark tonight. There's Kid Rock wearing the Old English D. Chris Chelios seated to his right. Enjoying Tigers baseball. J.D. Martinez giving the Tigers a lead 3-2. That was back in the 3rd. And the lead is held up as Iglesias leads it off. Well, Jose is brushed out of there and a ball up and in. Iglesias started the rally in the 3rd with a single. Jose now batting .331. Little tapper hit toward 3rd, fielded there by Valbuena.
Since you caught up with the Comerica Bank game summary, crucial error by Ian Kinsler. That would have been the 3rd out of the 3rd inning, but it played it a run, and then the next hitter, George Springer, doubled over the head of Anthony Ghost. But then it was J.D. Martinez, the former Houston Astros, with a 3-run bomb the opposite way.
And that's the difference in this one. Ghost had a bunt single in his last at bat. Anthony was struggling a bit going into yesterday's series opener. He was 1 for 17. Then he posted 3 hits yesterday. Another one here tonight. Yesterday's game was his 12th multi-hit game of the year. Here's the 1-1. A little bit outside. 2 balls, 1 strike on Ghost. Slice to left field. That's hit pretty good. Tucker watches it sail over his head up against the wall. Ghost headed to second base. In there with a double and another multi-hit game.
Tucker in left field was playing Anthony Ghost awfully shallow, just as Rasmus was and also Springer at their respective outfield positions, and he gets himself a cutter. That's a cut fastball, stays with it, and whistles it over the head of the left fielder, Tucker, for a double.
We'll see if the Tigers now can get Ghost in. A double to go with his bunt single. Oh for 2 tonight for Kinsler. Fly ball and a ground out.
Anthony Ghost has 7 steals already this year. He's been caught a couple of times. But Altuve, the second baseman, with Rajay Davis and also Anthony Ghost. He is right on the bag. Kinsler has done very well in 64 career games against Houston pitching. .335 average with 12 homers.
Hugh again breaks off another one. This one bounces in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hugh last year led all major league rookies with an ERA of 2.73 and also had the lowest opponent's batting average against at only .208. Two balls, 1 strike. Bouncer back up the middle. Fielded by Gonzalez, who throws him out. Well, the only way to get a 1945 replica road jersey is to visit tigers.com/jersey and buy a special package to see the Tigers battle the Cubs June 9th through the 10th. Exclusive packages are available only at tigers.com/1945jersey. There you go. 2 down now with Ghosts at third base and a chance for Miguel Cabrera. McHugh gave up a double to Cabrera in his first at bat, but then struck him out in the third.
Yeah, he threw me a couple of really good curveballs that bounced before they got to Miguel, but yet he swung at both of those.
Infield straight up against Cabrera, but the outfield is shaded quite a bit to right. Now it's 0-2 on Miguel.
What do you make of these splits right here, buddy?
Well, you know, Brad Ausmus called it an anomaly a couple of weeks ago, but clearly his daytime numbers are just out of this world. Nighttime, not so much. I don't know what to make of it.
They're puzzling, that much is for sure.
Fouled away. Now, Brad did go on to say a better indicator, obviously, is to look at his career numbers day and night, which is true.
Right.
Not much larger sampling, but it is something that has caught our attention, no doubt. And really, even the entire team, when you look at the splits between day games and night games.
No, it's not just Miggy.
And the 1-2. Bouncing ball, foul. Ghost got it started with a 1-out double. That was hit over the left fielder Tucker's head. He's standing at third with 2 outs. Here are the numbers on McHugh after 70 pitches. Ratio pretty good. More than 2-to-1 strikes. Low and in, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tigers tonight have out hit the Astros 7-3. They lead by a run. JD waiting on deck. He's already done some damage in support of Alfredo Simon. Way inside, almost hit him 3-2. McHugh has already hit J.D. Martinez tonight. Barely.
McHugh, if he's going to throw a strike to Miguel, his best pitch to throw to Miguel to get him out is probably that curveball. Miggy just can't stay back on it, nor can a lot of the other right-handed batters in the lineup. Can't stay back on that breaking ball. 73 miles an hour, that last one thrown by McHugh.
Pretty sure we haven't seen anybody throw this many breaking balls in a start this year.
No.
Castro flashing signs. Another bender, grounded foul. And just one after another after another.
And Miggy getting on that front foot a little bit too early there for coming off the backside. No bat speed in that swing for Miggy. Surprised Miggy hadn't gone to his emergency stance where he doesn't stride against McHugh, who's throwing so many breaking balls at Miggy. We'll see if he picks that front foot up here or just leaves it on the ground.
And he lost him. That was a 10-pitch at bat, and Cabrera finally works a walk. put him at first and third. Cabrera career high 4.06 pitches per plate appearance this season, which leads the team. He added to that with that 10 pitch at bat. Now another chance for JD. He's up there with 2 men on. Already a 3-run shot tonight. He hit it back in the third. JD hit a ball just foul. That would have been a home run down the left field line before he went the other way with his 3-run shot. And he looks at a breaking ball strike, 0-1.
Here's a Nissan drive of the game. That was back in the third inning. Opposite field home run for JD Martinez.
Couldn't hold up there. 0-2.
9 homers this year for JD, and you could see that 6 of the 9 have gone to either center field or right field. He gets out in front of breaking balls every now and then. Those are those 3 that he's hit to left field.
There goes Cabrera on his way to second. Throw. Here comes the runner home. Throw back. He is out at home plate. They have called go south, but I'm sure we'll take a look at this.
Tigers tried to steal a run there.
Ghost initially called out by Jerry Lane. Here's the tag.
Never got there.
No, you're right. The foot of Castro blocking home plate, and that's it. So the Tigers will not challenge. Brad, although has not given the official word, we'll wait and see. Maybe he will challenge this, but he clearly looked out. And now he's waved it off. So the inning is over. Tigers still lead by 1.
To get the ball and throw from Castro, and was able to throw out Anthony Ghost. It's a nice job by Altuve coming to get that baseball.
Good call by Jerry Lane too. You can see the foot blocking home plate. Tag is made, and Ghost is out. So here come the Astros now as we go to the 6th inning. Simon back at the hill, and he misses way outside to Luis Valbuena. Foot never got to home plate for Ghost. Popped up. third base side. Simon coming over, but he's called off. Iglesias, one gone. It's a pop to the shortstop on your score sheet. It's going to bring up George Springer. Springer with a double over the head of Anthony Ghost back in the third, knocking in a run. Strike one on Springer. Played his college ball at UConn, which has been known more as a basketball school, especially on the women's side. And the men as well. He was a first-round pick back in 11 of the Astros. 11th overall, which is the highest draft choice ever to come out of UConn. And it did not take Springer long to put up monster numbers in the minor leagues. One and two on George. A pretty good stretch now for Simon. Retired 8 straight. Gaddis waiting on deck. Here's the 1-2. Lined on one hop to the second baseman, Kinsler. 2 gone. Game break time. Here's Johnny Kane. All right, Johnny, thanks. Here the Tigers lead 3-2, and we've talked a lot about how Kendrys Morales has added to that Royals lineup.
Switch hitter with power, hitting right in the middle of that batting order. It's a nice sign by their general manager, Dayton Moore.
Whoa, the old Ephus.
He threw it so slow it didn't even register.
Look at this thing. Here's the 1-0 pitch.
Has he ever thrown a strike with that thing?
Try to think. He may have. I don't know that anybody has swung at that pitch, have they?
I think Torrey might have swung at it once.
Yeah, you're right. He did actually. I remember that now. The 1-1. You ever faced a guy in the minors or big leagues that threw something like that?
Never. The closest thing I saw to an Ephus pitch was probably a knuckleball or something like that.
Gaddis, a couple of fly balls, one to right, one to left. Here's the 2-1. Just missed. 3-1.
And Gaddis has got one thing on his mind when he's standing in that batter's box, and that's to hit a homer. 14 extra base hits on the season so far for Gaddis.
3-2. I made the comment earlier this season that he's so thankful that A.J. Hinch had confidence in him because Gaddis got off to an extremely slow start, but he kept throwing Gaddis out there in the lineup, and Evan was thankful for that. He has driven in 25 runs.
He had 28 total hits. 14 for extra bases for Gaddis.
Well, Gaddis will take his base with 2 outs. Well, tonight Fox Sports Live features a full slate of MLB highlights. King Felix tries to become baseball's first 7-game winner, plus complete NHL and NBA playoff coverage. Jay and Dan will have it all, and you can see it Fox Sports Live tonight at 11 p.m. on Fox Sports 1.
Well, we got an answer to the Ephus question. He's thrown 24 Ephus pitches.
Okay.
We're being told by our crack staff in the truck. And 5 of those have been strikes.
Really?
So 5 of 24.
You cannot sneak anything by the truck. Anything is answerable. 1-0 on Tucker.
We've got a lot of gadgets down there.
Pop-up ground out for Preston Tucker. That's in there, a strike, 1-1.
He buckled his knees with one of those split-fingered fastballs.
Tucker's brother Kyle is also a really good baseball player. Is probably going to be drafted this year in the June draft of 2015.
Draft is right around the corner.
And it is. Bouncing ball, and it's going to be hit right into the shift. Castellanos throws him out from right field. No runs, a walk, one left. Here comes the bottom of the sixth. Martinez will be starting things off for the Tigers.
And back in the third inning, J.D. Martinez connected for his 9th home run of the year, the opposite way against Colin McHugh.
RBIs 19, 20, and 21 as well for J.D. As he stings his former club, he fouls that one back out of play on 1. Home half of the 6th inning is underway. Martinez, Cespedes, Castellanos in the Tigers' 6th. Here's the 0-1. No balls, 2 strikes. Popped up. Let's see if it stays in play. Carter. They can't quite get there. Oh, 2 the count stays on JD. McHugh was really good last September, which has kind of bled over into this year. He's had a nice start to the season, although his ERA a little bit higher this year. Last September, he was perfect. He was 4-0 that month. 1.59 ERA. Slice to right center, base hit.
Do it, JD.
Nobody playing there. They had him played to pull on the infield, and Martinez with a single.
And it's a vacated hole on the right side of the infield, and Altuve would have been standing there, but JD pulls his hands in nicely to his body and hits an absolute missile into right field. He was over-aggressive in last night's game against his former team. He was trying to do too much. Yeah, but he's dialed it back today.
That'll bring up Cespedes. The Tigers now have 8 hits in this game. Simon, meanwhile, has allowed just 3 Astros hits. Bouncing ball. Cut off at third. Valbuena goes to second. That's all they'll get. One on, one out for Nick Castellanos. Tigers and Astros playing a 4-game series here this weekend in Comerica. They'll return the favor with a 3-game series in Houston in August, when it should be nice and cool in August in Houston.
Yeah, always is nice and cool in Texas in August.
As long as the roof is closed in the stadium, we're all right. Castellanos, single and a fly ball. McHugh missing outside, 1-0, despite the fact that they played Castellanos to pull. Altuve swung around across the bag to the shortstop side.
I like the way the Tigers are taking what they're giving them. If they're going to overshift that way, even though the data shows that the Tigers are pull happy on the ground, they're right-handed batters. Their right-handed batters have the ability to hit the ball the other way. Castellanos does, JD does.
That one will settle into the glove of Tucker in left.
McGill has no problem going the other way.
Rajay Davis. Single and a pop-up.
If you're Cespedes over at first base, you should know by now that McHugh is going to throw Rajay at least 1 or 2 breaking balls. And if he does bounce the breaking ball, which he's done a lot of today, you have to be ready to advance into scoring position.
Rajay showing bunt.
Castro has been awfully busy behind the plate today. He's had to block a lot of those breaking balls in the dirt thrown by McHugh.
Tigers 3 runs, 8 hits. Astros 2 runs, 3 hits. 2-0 the count. Davis, your designated hitter tonight for the Tigers, and it appears that Brad now is going to use that position to get some other guys in that spot, as opposed to strictly using Tyler Collins against right-handed pitching.
Keep some guys fresh.
Why not? They've got some quality guys they can rotate. Whether Cespedes gets a night off, or Miguel, or anybody really. Kinsler, Davis, JD. Victor Martinez on the 15-day disabled list. That was retroactive back to the 19th. Rajay skies one in the air to center. Colby Rasmus toward the gap to make the catch, and nothing comes of the leadoff single. We go to the 7th. And Rod back here at the ballpark, and well, I guess if you take an error away in this game, the big pasta's doing some pretty good work tonight.
He really has. I mean, he's thrown quite a few of those splitters today, but he's mixed in quite a few two-seamers at 92 to 94. A lot of cutters as well, along with that breaking ball. He's really slowed down the Astros.
You got about J.D. Martinez, man, a 3-run homer tonight. He very nearly hit one out to left, and he comes back and shoots one out to right.
Much more patient today.
Yeah.
It looked like he tried to do too much against his former team yesterday, but he's had some quality at-bats tonight. And because of that, he's played long ball to right field for the 5th time this year.
And so the Tigers will take their lead into the 7th as Simon goes back to the hill. And his first pitch to Colby Rasmus is ball 1. Rasmus, then Carter, and then Castro facing Simon. Drill to right field down the line. Hook. And it will. It'll go foul.
Colby has a lot of sock in his bat. He's already homered 9 times this year.
Well, this makes 5 of 9 starts now that Simon has pitched into the 7th.
Now, Alfredo hasn't gotten a lot of run support in the first couple of months from his teammates, averaging just over 3 runs per game while he's on the mound.
There you go. Lowest among Tiger starters. I mean, look at the American League, 12th lowest.
He very easily could have 6 wins already this year.
Here's the 1-2. Rasmus lays off. Carter waiting on deck. There's only one outfielder in the American League that has more extra base hits than Colby Rasmus, and that would be Yoenis Cespedes.
Simon's already struck him out twice here today. Looking for the hat trick.
Ooh, drilled again to right field, but again, it'll look foul.
Here's our high speed, and pitching is brought to you by Xfinity. Top fastball tonight, 94. And thrown by Alfredo. What do you guys call it? The Big Pasta?
Big Pasta, that's his nickname. Although it is Polish American night, maybe it should be the Big Pierogi tonight. Here's the 2-2. Fouled away.
That's a nice foul tip there by Rasmus. Not a bad pitch at the bottom of the zone thrown by Simon. He just got a piece of it. Can't get hurt down here.
Missed tying away. Fill the count now 3-2. Astros have scored more runs than any American League team from the 7th inning beyond. They've scored 78 from the 7th inning or later.
They scored 5 runs against the Tigers.
Oh, right.
Yesterday, 7th inning or later.
Checked it.
That means they're beating up on a lot of bullpens.
Yeah. Well, their bullpen has been really good. 3-2. A.J. Hinch's team still in first place in the American League West by a decent margin as well. They came into play tonight up 5.5. There you go.
I told you earlier, the last time Houston had a 5.5 game lead on May 22nd, you have to go back 12 years.
Swing and a miss. There's your hat trick, right?
Yep, 3rd time he's gotten him today. Now he's looking to get Carter for the 3rd time today. 4-seam fastball here upstairs that Rasmus just couldn't lay off of.
5 strikeouts now for Simon. We're at Comerica Park tonight in downtown Detroit. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen. Mark Isofano, our producer. Brian Moss, our director tonight. Tigers holding on to a skinning 1-run lead, 3-2. We're in the 7th. Carter shoots one foul, 0-1.
Rasmus and Carter are the only two batters that Simon has been able to strike out here tonight.
Yeah, they've made up for the rest of the team. Way up and in off the glove of McCann. 1-1.
It's the third time that Simon has dropped down to that sidearm angle. But it's the first time he threw a fastball from that angle. And usually he has dropped down to this angle and thrown a breaking ball in this game.
Carter's certainly a guy that can tie this game with one swing of the bat. He got 7 of them this year.
And most of those have come lately. Told you last time he was up, he had a monster second half last year. But he's always had huge power, whether it be with Oakland, whether it be Chicago in the minor leagues, now in the big leagues with Houston.
Low, 3-1 on Chris Carter. Waiting on deck is the catcher Jason Castro. Jeff Jones picking up the telephone. As Simon approaches 100 pitches on the night. That's fouled off. 3-2. Alfredo won his first 4 starts for the Tigers consecutively. And he became the first pitcher to win 4 straight in a Tigers uniform to start a year since 1978 when Kid Young did it. Alfredo got off to a red hot start in the Old English D. High fly ball, right field, fairly deep, carrying. Martinez going back, has room. 2 outs. We'll bring up Castro now. Here is the action of the Tigers. Bennett's lefty Tom Gorzolani and righty Angel Nesbitt.
And really, Brad has 3 different guys. Well, 4 guys he can use in the 8th inning, 7th and 8th inning. Not just Jabba Chamberlain. He can use Nesbitt. He can use Gorzolani. He can use Blaine Hardy. That's what he said today. He said it's not a given that Jabba will always pitch the 8th inning. Even 100 pitches for Alfredo.
Strike called on Castro. Here it is by innings. Tigers have also got some really good work out of Alex Wilson, who threw 2 scoreless yesterday to get the victory for the Tigers. One ball, 1 strike. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Sails high and away, 2-1. Castro really hasn't had a whole lot of success in his career against the Tigers. Only 6 for 48, but a couple of those hits are homers. And that's all the Astros need right now to tie this game. Two and two. Well, look at Castro, just passed Brad Ausmus. Home runs among catchers in Astros history.
Brad not going to be happy about that.
No. He had 41 in an Astros uniform.
18 years in the big leagues as a catcher. That's a long time. 10 years in an Astros uniform. 2 different stints.
Full count on Castro. Marwin Gonzalez on deck. Castro had a double to start things off in the third. That's when the Astros got their 2 runs. The Tigers, though, answered with 3 in the third inning. Drilled to short right, out of the reach of Castellanos, who was playing out there. It'll be a base hit. 2-out single, second hit of the game now for Castro. That'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Marwin Gonzalez.
109 is the most that Simon has thrown this year in a game, and it came back in his 3rd start of the year against the Yankees.
I think this might be his last batter here. You got Altuve on deck.
It could be.
I don't know.
It could be.
He's gotten Altuve 3 times, even if Gonzalez does get on. Marwin is sacrificed in a fly ball. Strike 1. Gonzalez, crooked look for home plate umpire Jerry Lane.
Got to give James McCann a little credit, and for stealing that strike for Simon. Jerry Lane gave him the call.
One and one.
New umpiring crew here tonight, not the same crew that started the series last night, and that's rare that you break up series, but it probably was going to be tough for this crew right here to get to Comerica Park yesterday for a 1 o'clock game.
Yeah, an odd start for a Thursday, or for a Wednesday rather, the 1 o'clock game. And it's popped up foul, or Thursday I should say. To start the series, it's a 4-game series, so that's why I kind of threw the schedule off kilter.
So that same crew that worked the Brewers series, they just hung out for one more day in the Motor City.
One and two on Marwin Gonzalez.
Simon has equaled his season high in pitches thrown.
Simon right now at 110. His career high is 119. You see what he averages per start, a little under 100. The single that he gave up to Castro here in the 7th was his first hit allowed since the 3rd tonight. He'd been on a pretty good roll. The 1-2. Popped him up. Third base side. Castellanos has room to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. It is time to stretch. at Comerica Park tonight. In honor of Memorial Day weekend, Fox Sports proudly supports Folds of Honor and its mission of providing educational scholarships to families of military members who have been killed or disabled while serving our country. For more information, visit foxsportsupports.com. Well, Alfredo Simon awfully good tonight. 2 unearned runs in this game over 7 innings. And he has struck out 5, walked only 1. We'll see if the Tigers can pad the lead. They've got James McCann starting things off. Colin McHugh is still out there.
Simon, he's done in this game. Jabba Chamberlain's up from the bullpen, getting hot to pitch the 8th.
McCann, Iglesias, and Gose. 3 runs, 8 hits, Detroit. 2 runs, 4 hits, Houston. Late swing that goes foul.
It didn't look like McCann picked that one up very well from McHugh.
Here's Jabba. The 8th inning will be his. Here's the 1-1. Slice to right field, base hit. So McCann goes the other way, leadoff man out.
That is a thing of beauty there for McCann, who has grounded out to 2 double plays on the left side of the infield here today. But you can see a conscious effort here to stay with this ball, to keep that shoulder locked and loaded. And he just chased that cutter down and away and hit it the other way. That is a thing of beauty there. And by James. Beautiful swing.
Now Iglesias. Showing bunt, and he lays one down. McHugh going to go to second, and they'll get the force there. So Iglesias unable to move the runner up.
Well, Iglesias is just going to have to steal second base now. Jose has stolen 6 bases already this year, and they needed to steal one here.
Another big night for Gose. Single double, he scored a run. His base hit was of the bunt variety. Runner goes. Here comes the throw down to second, high, not in time.
Couldn't have picked a better pitch to run on. I'm surprised, to be honest with you, that McHugh threw that pitch knowing that Iglesias has the ability to steal. It's our Chevy high strength steal, as a matter of fact. No chance for the catcher Castro.
With that stolen base, the Tigers now have the league lead over Houston.
It's the 40th steal of the year for the Tigers.
That it is. The 1-0. Ghost trying to drive him in now. Here you go. Only the Reds have more in the major leagues. Tigers now lead the American League in steals. How about that?
How about Kansas City? Nowhere to be found, but Kansas City's rolling that pole this year.
Yep.
They don't need to run as much as they have in the last couple of years.
Swing and a miss. 1-2. Tigers have 9 hits in this game. They lead 3-2. Does Gose have another 3-hit game in him? Let's find out.
He already has 7 of those bad boys.
Here's the 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tigers 1 for 5 with men in scoring position. 281 over the course of the year. Tigers coming in leading the American League in hits, triples, on base percentage. However, they've also led the league in men left on base. Here's the 2-2. Bouncing ball right side. Altuve charging. Ghost is out. Advance the runner. Here's Ian Kinsler with 2 outs. For 3 for Kinsler. The average now at 304.
If you're Ian Kinsler, you could pretty much, if you wanted to, sit on at least one off-speed pitch until you get 2 strikes. And judging by the way that McHugh has pitched all night long, you're bound to get one. But you have to sit there and wait for it and not swing at the fastball if he throws you a fastball if you're sitting on something off-speed.
1-0. It's almost like you'd be stunned if he did get a breaking ball with as many as McHugh has thrown tonight.
And you'd be surprised at the amount of hitters, even at this level, that will sit on something soft and then still swing at the fastball when they see it coming out of the hand of the pitcher.
It'll be an even 100 now for McHugh.
In case you're wondering, the most pitches that McHugh has thrown this year, 106. He did it earlier in the month of May against the Seattle Mariners.
That's in there, a strike, 2-1. Good block at home plate by Castro. Kinsler came into this game tied with Miggy for the team lead in hits with 51. Cabrera has doubled in this game. Trying to pick up another runner here. That's Iglesias standing at third with 2 outs. Strike called. 3-2 on Kinsler. Right at the bottom edge. 17 hits this year with men in scoring position for Kinsler. How about another? The 3-2. Foul back. Waiting on deck, Miguel Cabrera. It has chilled considerably here at the ballpark tonight, down to 51 now.
What was it, about 63 at game time?
Sure was. Driven deep to left field. They get out in front of it, though. It's hooking. Foul.
Ian still looking for that first homer of the year.
It has been a while since Ian has homered. Hit 17 of them last year, but 170 consecutive at bats now without a home run.
Second longest drought in his career.
September 28th against Minnesota last year. Last homer. Broken bat roller toward first. Carter is going to take it himself. That'll end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. To the 8th we go, and here comes Java Chamberlain.
the hips, the front hips of these batters. We pointed this out earlier. They're all pull happy. They all try to force the issue. Therefore, that front hip flies, that front shoulder flies, and they're not swinging the bats all that effectively here tonight. They didn't do much against Simon. He gave up 4 hits, 2 runs. The 2 runs that he gave up weren't earned. 12 flyouts in the game for Simon today to go along with the 5 strikeouts. Just 4 groundouts. That was a really nice illustration of how violently some of these batters that Houston has, they come off the ball.
Well, in a wall-side windows pitching change, here comes Jabba Chamberlain now.
And Jabba 8 strikeouts so far this year, 3 base on balls in 15 games, a 1.50 ERA.
How well has the bullpen done this year? We'll compare it to this time last year through 42 games. ERA much better. They've thrown fewer innings, given up fewer home runs.
We've been giving the bullpen a lot of credit, but Tigers fans out there, they're giving the bullpen its due after the last couple years.
It's about time to do so, don't you think?
Yeah, they should.
Well, here's Altuve, the leadoff man. It'll be Altuve, Valbuena, and Springer facing the right-hander Jabba Chamberlain.
You must keep Altuve off the base paths. An absolute must.
Well, they've done a good job of that in this series. Altuve is now 1 for 8.
Yeah, and he's 3 for his last 28.
Oh for 1 career against Chamberlain. Not much history here. Jabba missed outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And the one thing that Altuve has been doing a lot of during this little mini slump that he's in, he's been rolling over on the ground a lot to the left side of the infield, or either popping up to the left side of the infield.
Well, had a good swing there.
A slide piece at 87 thrown by Jabba, and not a good swing by Altuve. That front hip of all these guys, man, just kind of fly off that ball.
Bouncing ball to second. Looks like they'll keep him off the bases. Kinsler throws him out. And Altuve now is 0 for 4 tonight. 1 away. Orsolani still throwing, although by himself right now in the Tigers bullpen. Chad Qualls, meanwhile, is tuning in the Houston pen. Here's Valbuena. His ground ball misplayed by Kinsler back in the 3rd, allowed a run to score. And then the Astros got another after that on a double by Springer. He also is 1 for 8 in the series. They played a pull on the infield, the shift against Valbuena. Big swing there. 1-1.
Good 4-seam fastball at 94 thrown by Jabba. Jabba's been throwing a lot more fastballs last couple of weeks, and someone's gotten in his ear, because he really has reestablished that mid-90s heater. And then when he does throw the breaking ball, you see some awkward swings.
Despite their loss yesterday, the Astros have been the best road team in baseball, 12-5. They find themselves down by a run again here tonight as we play in the 8th. Chamberlain replacing Alfredo Simon. 7 solid innings tonight. The 2-1. 3-1 now on Valbuena. Springer waiting on deck. In the air toward left. Toward the line goes Cespedes. 2 gone. One more out to get here in the 8th. That'll be Springer. Double, RBI, plus an infield single. 2 hits tonight. His average starting to climb now. It's at 215. Springer came into this series batting 195. Ball 1. Tigers and Astros again tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow's a 4:08 start here at the ballpark. One ball, one strike. That is popped up toward the seats. Miggy giving chase, out of play. It's about 5 rows back. 1-2 on Springer. Only 4 hits allowed tonight by Tigers pitching. Now the 1-2 outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. What do you see as the ceiling here for Springer as he gets more acclimated to big league pitching?
Playing in that yard that he plays in where the ball really jumps, he'll be a 30 homer guy. He's going to steal 30 bases in big leagues too. He's got a bright future. He's going to drive in 100 runs at some point in time. He's going to make all-star teams too. He's got a high ceiling.
And they still have some prospects down in the minor leagues. They're waiting on Correa, who is really kind of tearing it up down there.
Why is he not here?
I don't know. Here's Evan Gattis waiting on deck. These Astros have really kind of turned things around since a couple of years ago. And this is a Houston team that lost 111 games 2 years ago. Here are some of those names we're talking about. Lance McCullers is going to pitch in this series. Mark Appel was the first overall draft in 13.
They haven't been missing with their high round draft choices. Springer is an example of that. He's in the big leagues. Correa, he's going to get here shortly. Appel, they're not going to take him long either.
368 for Carlos Correa down in the minors. Swing and a miss. Jabba Chamberlain with a 1-2-3-8.
I see you, Jabba.
7.5 in the books. Here comes the bottom of the 8th. night and follow the Tigers all season long in 2015 with MLB.com at Bat. It is the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights. You'll get live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, even StatCast. Get MLB.com at Bat on your smartphone or your tablet. Wallside windows pitching change. Chad Qualls coming in out of the Houston pen.
Man, Chad Qualls has been pitching for a long time and still having a lot of success. Sub-3 ERA. The whip is under 1. He's not walking anybody. He struck out 18, and the opponents are hitting only a bucket of change against Chad.
And Cabrera shoots one fair inside the bag at first. It'll bang off the sidewall, and Miggy has to hold up with a single. Just inside the bag at first base.
A little sinker ball that didn't get down to the area that Qualls wanted it, and Miggy with just supreme concentration. Hit that ball right over the bag.
Two out of 9 now against Qualls. It's a 2-hit game for Miguel. Here's JD. Ball 1. Soria tuning up in the Detroit bullpen. Joaquin blew his first save of the year yesterday in the 9th inning home run. The Tigers eventually won that game in 11. Hooked foul back toward the Tiger dugout. Qualls is 36 years of age, has been used as the closer at times in his career, had 19 saves last year for Houston. 24 is the most he's ever had with Arizona. Here's the 2-1. Ground ball foul down the third base line. 2-2 on JD Martinez. Chamberlain with a 1-2-3-8. Now let's see if the Tigers can pad the lead a little bit. It would be nice. Martinez, 3-run homer. He's also been hit by a pitch and has a single. He's been on base 3 times. Swing and a miss. Ball's got him that time.
Here's the call, Sam. Call of the game. Java comes in and pitches a clean 8th inning ground ball off the bat of Altuve and a pop-up off the bat of Valbuena, and then he gets Springer. We'll give Brad some credit for making that call. Also got to thank Brad for joining us tonight.
Here's Cespedes. Yeah, Brad threw the headsets on and joined us earlier in the game. He echoed what you said about JD Martinez maybe pressing a little bit yesterday. But then the 3-run homer in this game really helped the Tigers. In fact, their only run so far.
It's a natural thing to do when you go up against your former club. You always try to do a little bit too much, and it doesn't really matter whether you're a young player or a veteran player. We watched Torrey Hunter in the 6 or 7 games that the Tigers have played against Minnesota look like he's tried to do too much. So he's worn out everybody else.
That's a good point. He really struggled.
He swung at everything. A lot of balls here, a lot of balls there.
Here's the 0-2. Cespedes hits a ground ball to third under the glove of Valbuena. It'll roll to the corner. Cabrera rumbling to third base, and he will stop there. Going to be a double for Yoenis Cespedes.
That ball has to be knocked down by Valbuena. You have to get glove on that, and you have to keep that ball in the infield. He went over to the ball, and he was going to try to backhand it and get the force out at second base, thinking about turning two before getting one out, and he never got the tailgate down enough to make the play. Ball right underneath the glove.
Second and third now. There's Castellanos. And in a one-run game in the eighth, the Astros will pull the infield in.
No reason for Castellanos to get greedy here. And when he gets greedy in these situations, he gets out in front of the ball and hits ground balls to the left side of the infield. Hit something to right field.
Nick in the ballgame tonight, a single for 3.
And Castellanos has driven in 6 runs in the last 2 games.
Cabrera at third base, Cespedes at second, infield in. And the 0-1. Colin McHugh threw the first 7 for Houston, and all he did was allow that 3-run shot to J.D. Martinez. That's all he gave up, but it may be enough. Here's the 1-1. E5, by the way, in that last ground ball by Cespedes, so I called it a double, but it's an E5.
I wrote double down 2, even though the ball got under the glove. It's a tough air, you know. Could have gone Cespedes' way, especially here at home. You like to have a little home cooking.
First error of the game for the Astros. Fouled away.
Castellanos has a good approach right now going against Qualls, and if he keeps the same approach, he's going to drive in a run here. He is doing his best, trying to hit the ball to right field.
Davis on deck. So the Tigers had 10 hits, not 11. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss. It's a big out there for Qualls. Second strikeout of the inning, 2 gone.
And it looked like the same exact pitch that he got JD on. And breaking ball down.
So here's Rajay to see if he can produce a 2-out hit. Give Soria a little bit of breathing room when we get to the ninth. Ground ball, left side of the infield, it's short. Gonzalez, tough play. Go! Not in time, and the run scores. Rajay beats it out, an infield single.
Marwin Gonzalez, the shortstop, did all that he could do to try to get the speedy runner Davis. He surrounded it. He got rid of it in a hurry, but his foot on the bag before the ball got in the glove of Carter. It's a huge run right there.
And it's the Tigers' first run since getting 3 in the third. It's now a 4-2 ball game. And a chance for James McCann.
The 5th infield single this year for Rajay. Iglesias, he paces the squad with 9 infield singles.
McCann will bat with runners at first and third. That is the 11th Tigers hit of the night. Ball up and in, 1-0. McCann knocked into a couple of double plays in his first 2 at-bats, and then he lined a single to right field in the 7th. Davis stretching his lead at first, Cespedes at third. Runner goes. Here comes the throw to second. It's going to be tardy.
Steal number 11 this year for Davis. And really, he stole this base on Qualls, the pitcher. Castro, the catcher, really had no shot at throwing Davis out, not with the big lead and the huge jump that he got.
Second steal in the last 2 innings for the Tigers. Iglesias had one in the 7th.
We are headed toward the month of June, and the Tigers lead the American League in stolen bases.
Pretty cool. Haven't said that in a while. Different ball club these days. Foul ball up the middle, base hit. 1 run is in. Davis rounding third. He will score. McCann gets a big hit. 2-run single, James McCann.
James McCann, his first 2 times up, grounded out to the left side of the infield for double plays. 1 to the third baseman, 1 to the shortstop, but in his last 2 plate appearances, both singles, 1 the opposite way, 1 up the middle. Really nice adjustment made tonight by James McCann. That is our big boys' big play of the game.
And you see how crucial that stolen base was. You put Rajay in scoring position, and he scored. A 3-run 8th for the Tigers off Chad Qualls. 6-2 ball game now. Joakim Soria now has sat down in the bullpen with a 4-run lead. Not a save situation. Iglesias cues 1 foul, 0-2. Instead, Tom Gorsolani now is again warming. Astros will have 4, 5, 6 coming up in the 9th. Iglesias, stolen base, single, run scored. Swing and a miss. Iglesias down on strikes. That'll end the inning. Big inning though for the Tigers. They pad the lead with 3. We go to the 9th. Three here at the ballpark tonight. They got 3 big ones in the bottom of the 8th, and now we go to the top of the 9th inning. Tigers 3 outs away from a victory. There is a new pitcher now for the Tigers. That'll be Tom Gorzelani. Well, we'll get to Trevor in a couple of minutes. Some trouble with his microphone, so stay tuned for Trevor. Meanwhile, Romine has entered the ballgame. He'll play third base. And Gorzelani goes to work facing Evan Gattis to start things off here in the 9th. Gattis takes ball 1. 6 runs, 12 hits for the Tigers. 2 runs, 4 hits for the visiting Astros. Little high, 2-0. Jonathan VR has moved to the on-deck circle, so he will pinch hit. Soria was warming up, but now with a 4-run lead, Gorzelani comes in. Here's the 2-0. Gattis in the ball game tonight, 0 for 2, couple of fly balls and a walk. High, towering fly ball to left. Cespedes going back. Edge of the warning track, 1 away. Now he's all set to go and hooked up. Let's check in with Trevor Thompson.
That's right, Mario. First day with the new microphone down here at the Comerica Park. Anyway, looking forward to Tigers Live immediately after the game. Talking with Alfredo Simon as he looks posed to get his 5th win of the season. Also talked to J.D. Martinez. Had that foul ball deep down the left side, then went down the right side for a 3-run homer. Could prove to be the game winner. Lots of happy talk inside that Tiger clubhouse, hopefully following the 3rd out here in the 9th. But let's get to that as we send it back up to the booth to you and Ron.
All right, Trev, thanks. Yeah, we look forward to it. 2 more outs to get before we get there, though. And Jonathan VR will pinch hit. Hitting for Preston Tucker. VR open stance from the right side. Looks at ball 1. Tigers have out hit the Astros tonight 12-4. Simon was really good again tonight. There's a bouncing ball in the hole. It's short. Iglesias plants, throws, picked by Miggy.
Human highlight film. Jose Iglesias.
2 gone.
Tremendous range. He sets his feet. He grabs it across the seams and throws that 4-seamer across the diamond to Miggy. And Miggy just picking everything over there.
Iggy to Miggy, and they combine for a terrific play. 2 gone now. The crowd coming to his feet. Jake Marisnick will pinch hit. Ball 1.
Yeah, Marisnick didn't get the start here tonight because he's been battling it a little bit himself. He has not swung the bat well lately. And so the beginning of this game, a little mental day off given to him by his manager, A.J. Hinch, and you add the fact that Simon is usually death on right-handed batters.
No doubt. Well, it's 1-1 now on Marisnick. Gorzelani trying to get a 1-2-3 9th to nail this one shut. It would be the Tigers' 3rd consecutive win. Out of play. 1-2 on Jake Marisnick. Royals leading St. Louis tonight 5-0 in the 5th. They came in with a 2-game lead on the Tigers in the Central. Barely staying alive. 37,276 tonight's paid attendance, and it's got a little cool down here down the stretch. But smiles nonetheless. Swing and a miss, struck him out. The Tigers have won the first 2 in this series. JD with a big home run tonight. Simon was great. And the Tigers come away with their 3rd consecutive win. Stay with us. A whole lot more coming up from a Comerica Park that's happy with a 6-2 win tonight.